Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with just some final thoughts of Company of Heroes. Gotta say, freaking awesome game. This is definitely one of my tops of this year. I was expecting good things, but it even surprised me with how well they translated an RTS video game down to a board game. Now, of course, it's not going to be a direct one-to-one translation, but as close as you can come, they pretty damn well got there. I got to give it to them. I have thoroughly enjoyed this game, and it's good across the board. Now, of course, no game is perfect. It does have little faults here and there, right? I think it could have used more trays for the units. If you do have 3D printers, you have the ability to make your own, so you can do stuff like this, and kind of makes it easier on you. I would have liked to have had a few more. Now, the infantry ones, I think you had plenty of those. Just maybe some more vehicle trays, because I think the game only came with 6 total. But that is pretty much as far as I can kind of fault it as far as components go. And even the amount of components that come with this game, and you can get them easily back into the box that they come in, because everything is neatly designed to go back into the box. There's specific little spots and trays, and it's not just for the specific game components, it's like the unit pieces as well. So easy to keep track of what you got, where you got it. Nice little pieces here for your infantry, so you can stack them in there neatly. Little jeeps, armored car, tanks, all that other good stuff. And if you got it on Kickstarter, you got all the bonuses of things like elite commanders and bonus units and stugs and all the other cool little pieces that came with the game. Now, there was one pack, I believe it was the one that came with this. I believe these should have been like flat out included in like the base game rather than a bonus expansion pack. But I think everyone who ordered it got that small little bonus pack anyway. But these dice are kind of needed, especially for the experience points or some of the upgrades. Like I just had it there, like the ones that show you the +1, right? I think right now the only place you can get it is like Kickstarter versions. So if you get the game, you do get that piece. So it's not like anyone's missing out. We'll see how it translates if they go to retail later, which I think they're expecting to. But it should not be until after Kickstarter 1.5, which, by the way, if you don't have the game and you are interested, there is Kickstarter 1.5. I paid for everything. They haven't sponsored me. They haven't given me a damn thing. They haven't said, hey, Gimpy, can you do whatever? We'll send. Nope, nothing. This is me saying it. Kickstarter 1.5 coming out. If you like anything that you've seen, absolutely worth the buy, especially for the amount of shit that you get for the amount that you pay. I can't remember exactly what I paid. I have to look it up real quick. I don't even know if it would show on my phone. Let me check. Okay, so yeah, I will say this. We'll do it like that. Yeah, I did pay for a higher level pledge that came with some extra components. So it was almost $200 back when I pledged for this thing. I got the collector's bundle, which had the core set, the terrain pack, and the big thing was the solo cooperative pack and the Elite Commanders Edition. The Elite Commanders Edition is definitely recommended as well, because it's the one that added these extra things, the extra commanders, but the big thing was it added the extra like heavy units. So the Pershings, the IS-2s, the Bridge, I think it was, Shermans, said screw it, went and grabbed the damn thing. Yeah, it's got the small Stuart tanks, the special Sherman tanks, that I think those are the rocket launchers or bridges, I can't remember which. The King Tigers, the Jag Panzers, the Churchills, the British crap that I can't remember, Firefly Sherman, I think that is. And then, of course, the Big Daddy KV-2. So this was like one of the bonus packs. If you are looking to get this later in 1.5, yeah, Elite Commanders, definitely recommend. Now, the big thing is, does the game play well solitaire? And, okay, for me, okay, how can I say this the best way possible? Yes, it does play well solitaire, and I think it would play well solitaire whether or not you did it to where you just did like a heads up thing where you were playing against yourself. You just picked a side and and had the units and the miniatures, and you controlled everything, and you kept track of their victory points and their supplies, and you may purchase, if you just played it like you were playing against yourself, I think you would play fine. Plenty of war gamers do that cool crap all the time, so I don't see that you'd have a problem with this. With the exception that bookkeeping does take a long time when it comes to this game. There's a lot to keep track of. And if you have small children or cats, they will take these little damn white cubes and they will knock them the hell everywhere. All right. But again, giving them props for the materials and components. These trays are friggin' excellent, man. Look at this. It slots right the hell in with the commander card. Easy to see right where your experience is, how many experience points you have, what you have coming in on income, what you got in your stockpiles. I mean, it's perfect. It's excellent. Gotta say, I love it. Great, great, great components. But if you got the kids or the cats, keep them the hell away from the table because they will knock those pieces loose. A couple times during filming, I had to guesstimate where my cubes were because the kids had moved them around because for some reason they think putting them in the little spots is fun. I don't know. The big thing that kind of draws back against the solitaire component of the game is the fact that there is not as much replayability because the commanders are cards. I'll throw an example up in the corner for you. So with them being cards, it's not going to change. But the fact that they do have an app that exists now means that is subject to change. They can create scenarios. They can create extra commanders. They can do whatever the hell they want to and change it up so you have a deeper, more enriching experience. And one of the biggest things I've always pushed when it comes to solitaire play is the fact that it needs randomness. It needs randomization somehow to develop something to where you don't know what's coming. Now, key thing for this game was use of a little disc that would creep up to you and then flip them over and you'd find out there's an event or an enemy or a tank or whatever the hell on the other side. That's one way that they did the randomization and it worked. Now that is a drawback in the fact that the game does not look anywhere near as good with just one side having units on the board. Since they are all German units though, there's nothing really stopping you from taking and putting the miniatures on these little tokens as they're going through forward, but you do need to have the tokens on the board so you can see their stats and all that other stuff. But part of the problem, again, like I mentioned before, the tokens do bleed into the board a little bit, especially if you get into spots like that where the background of the token matches the background of the map itself and they kind of blend in. That's going to be map dependent, but it's not a huge deal, just a little bit of a niggle. So yeah, you do have the way to have the miniatures on the board. It's really up to you. I didn't bother with it because it would add a fair amount of time to the game, just moving the extra pieces around and keeping them straight. And I already have plenty of that to deal with filming and going back and forth and all that other good stuff. So not going to worry about that. So yeah, the solitaire is definitely worth getting. And right now, as it stands currently, I can only see it getting better. Of course, remember when I'm saying this, I'm saying it as someone who likes apps and does not mind an app being involved with my game. If you do not like apps and you don't like having to have a phone or a tablet when it comes to your board games, that might be an issue for you because yes, you can have the solitaire expansion itself, but then you are going to fall back directly onto that problem that the commanders don't have any randomization. It's going to deploy these units on these turns, and there is very small amount of if depending on what you what victory points you have on some of the commanders, not all of the commanders, but it's not a whole lot of randomization for that. So that is something that you are going to have to consider. You will have the randomization of not knowing what tokens are coming towards you, but that's only going to last so long. I really think the app is what's going to take the solitaire of this game to that next level because it is so much easier to be able to give you a free scenario, free commander where you just download it versus one that you're going to have to buy as an extra expansion that has cards, tokens, and all the other good stuff. As far as other things you should consider, if you get Train Pack 1, get Train Pack 2. Don't make the mistake that I did. They, like I mentioned in an earlier video, they are taking and combining all the rules into a single rule book. That way you don't have to look in multiple places. That was a problem I encountered and did cause me to make a few errors through the course of the game, because there's the basic rules and then there's the advanced rules and then there's the solitaire rules. And you were having to kind of look, you know, around and make sure that everything was jimmying and jockeying and fitting together just right, which did cause a little bit of a problem. But again, more of a minor problem, a little niggle to the game, but nothing too major that's going to bother you once you've gotten into it. But ultimately speaking, when it comes to Company of Heroes, it is 100% a buy, especially for the miniatures that are freaking awesome and even have the damn names on the bottom of the vehicles. That is so freaking cool. I mean, they're heavy, right? These are heavier than some like bigger scale miniatures that are represent, what is this? Something like 1/120th or so scale, and maybe the, what is it, 1/56th? What, I think that's 28 millimeter, which are bigger, but those are all hollow. These actually, I think, weigh more because they're solid pieces. You do not have to worry about breaking these things. Now, could you potentially like bend the barrels? Yeah, maybe, but you're gonna have to work at that or drop it on the floor or something like that. These, you're not gonna break. And even the board, I'm not worried about dinging up the board. All solid, good pieces. Same with the terrain packs. The better you can paint, the better they're going to look. Obviously, up to you on whether or not you want to paint your little miniatures. I'm not that good, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I do still have a few buildings left for Miss Gimpy's gal to paint up. I did save a few for her. But yeah, when you add up everything to it, components, gameplay, the amount of stuff that you get, the ease of storage, solitaire compatibility, easy, 100% buy. Don't wait for a sale. If you see it and you ain't got it, get it. One caveat that I will put in there again is the fact that if you order this on the 1.5 Kickstarter, and I'm hoping and praying that they have this fixed by the time that rolls around, is that if they offer the painted option again, be aware that it may take longer to get to you, because I know there's still people who are waiting on their copies of the game because the painters, whoever are taking care of that, there was a ball drop, communication, supply issues, whatever it is that happened, it slowed down delivery. And a lot of people who got that version, the pre-painted version, are still waiting on their game. And I hate that for them because it's an excellent game. If I were still waiting on it, I'd be crying right now if I knew how good the game was and I didn't have the copy in my hand. Me, I enjoy painting, so I don't mind having these things lay around until I get around to painting them at some point in the far future when I'm like 70 and I don't have kids to worry about. I will tell you, as far as my channel is concerned and extra playtime with Company of Heroes, I would absolutely love to get this game to the table again, 100%. That probably won't happen until after the 1.5 Kickstarter though, because I am going to try to pick up a couple little pieces that I missed the first go around. Obviously Terrain Pack 2, maybe some extra factions because I missed out on the extra bonus if you ordered it within a certain time frame. I forget what it was. There was like an extra vehicle that you could get that I didn't get because I didn't have the money to order it at the time, and I had to wait till I got paid later on to back the Kickstarter. And I think there's maybe one other little faction, OBK or OWB or OKW. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure someone will put it in the comments. One of the larger factions that you could add to it, but it's just little pieces that I'm looking to pick up. 100% recommend that you guys get whatever it is. Even the base box itself has plenty of game, plenty of board space. Make sure you have a big table because you're going to need it, and it will keep you occupied for a long time. Again, one of the absolute best translations of a video game to a board game that I have ever seen. I really think they did a good job with it. It's not perfect. No game is. But they came out swinging and they hit the ground running with this one. All right, but that's going to be it for this one. If you guys have any final questions about the game, feel free to put it down below. I will answer it if I can. And stay tuned for when the 1.5 does come around in the far future for a little bit more Company of Heroes. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.